What's up, guys? Welcome to June 30th as we dive into 2 Kings chapter 16 verses 19 to 20, where it talks about the end of Ahaz's reign. The rest of the events in Ahaz's reign and everything he did are recorded in the book of the history of the kings of Judah. When Ahaz died, he was buried with his ancestors in the city of David. Then his son Hezekiah became the next king. 2 Chronicles chapter 28, verses 26 to 27. The rest of the events of Ahaz's reign and everything he did from beginning to end are recorded in the book of the kings of Judah and Israel. When Ahaz died, he was buried in Jerusalem, but not in the royal cemetery of the kings of Judah. Then his son Hezekiah became the next king. Isaiah chapter 13, a message about Babylon. Isaiah, son of Amos, received this message concerning the destruction of Babylon. Raise a signal flag on a bare hilltop. Call up an army against Babylon. Wave your hands to encourage them. As they march into the palaces of the high and mighty, I, the Lord, have dedicated these soldiers for this task. Yes, I have called mighty warriors to express my anger, and they will rejoice when I am exalted. Hear the noise on the mountains. Listen as the vast armies march. It is a noise and shouting of many nations. The Lord of heaven's armies have called this army together. They come from distant countries, from beyond the furthest horizons. They are the Lord's weapons to carry out his anger. With them he will destroy the whole land. Screaming terror, for the day of the Lord has arrived, the time for the Almighty to destroy. Every arm is paralyzed with fear. Every heart melts, and people are terrified. Pangs of anguish grip them, like those of a woman in labor. They look hopelessly at one another, their faces aflame with fear. For see, the day of the Lord is coming, the terrible day of his fury and his fierce anger. And the land will be made desolate, and all the sinners destroyed with it. The heavens will be black above them, and stars will not give no light. The sun will be dark when it rises, and the moon will provide no light. I, the Lord, will punish the world for its sins, and the wicked for their sin. I will crush the ignorance of proud, and humble the pride of the mighty. I will make people scarcer than gold, more rare than the fine gold of Ophir, for I will shake the heavens, the earth will move from its place. When the Lord of heaven's armies displays his wrath in the day of his fierce anger, everyone in Babylon will run about like a hunted gazelle, like sheep without a shepherd. They will try to find their own people and flee to their own lands. Anyone who is captured will be cut down, run through with the sword. Their little children will be dashed to death before their eyes. Their homes will be sacked, and their wives will be raped. Look, I will stir up the Medes against Babylon. They cannot be tempted by silver or bribed with gold. The attacking armies will shoot down the young men with arrow. They have no mercy on helpless babies and will show no compassion for children. Babylon, the most glorious of kingdoms, the flower of Chaldean pride, will be devastated like Sodom and Gomorrah when God destroyed them. Babylon will never be inherited again. It will remain empty for generation after generation. Nomads will refuse to camp there, and shepherds will not bed down their sheep. Desert animals will move into the ruined city, and the houses will be haunted by howling creatures. Owls will live among the ruins, and wild goats will go there to dance. Hyenas will howl in its fortresses, and jackals will make dens in luxurious palaces. In its luxurious palaces, Babylon's days are numbered. Its time of destruction will soon arrive. Chapter 14, a taunt for Babylon's king. But the Lord will have mercy on the descendants of Jacob. He will choose Israel as his special people once again. He will bring them back to settle once again in their own land, and people from many different nations will come and join them there and unite with the people of Israel. The nations of the world will help the people of Israel to return, and those who come to live in the lands Lord will serve them. Those who capture Israel will themselves be captured, and Israel will rule over its enemies. In the wonderful days when the Lord gives his people rest from sorrow and fear, from slavery and chains, you will taunt the king of Babylon. You will say, "The mighty man has been destroyed. Yes, your insolence is ended, for the Lord has crushed your wicked power and broke your evil rule. You struck the people with endless blows of rage and held the nations in your angry grip with unrelenting tyranny. But finally the earth is at rest and quiet. Now it can sing again. Even the trees of the forest, the cypress trees and the cedars of Lebanon, sing out this joyous song. Since you have been cut down, no one will come now to cut us down. In the place of the dead, there is excitement over your arrival. The spirits of world leaders and mighty kings long dead stand up to see you. With one voice they all cry out, "Now you are as weak as we are. Your might and power will bury with you. The sound of the harp in your palace has ceased. The maggots are your sheets, and worms your blanket. How you are fallen from heaven. One shining star, son of the morning, you have been thrown down to the earth. You who destroy the nations of the world. For you said to yourself, I will ascend to heaven and set my throne above God's stars. I will preside on the mountain of the gods. Far away in the north, I will climb in the highest heavens and be like the Most High. Instead, you will be brought down to the place of the dead, down to its lowest depths. Everyone there will stare at you and ask, can this be the one who shook the earth and made the kingdoms of the world tremble? Is there the one who destroyed the world and made it into a wasteland? Is this the king who demolished the world's greatest cities and have no mercy on his prisoners? Like the kings of the nations lie in stately glory, each in his own tombs, but you have been thrown out of your grave like a worthless branch, like a corpse trampled underfoot. You have been dumped into a mass grave with those who killed in battle. You will descend to the pit. You have not been given a proper burial, for you have destroyed your nation and slaughtered your people. The descendants of such an evil person will never again receive honor. Kill this man's children. Let them die because of their father's sins. They must not rise and conquer the earth, filling the world with their cities. This is what the Lord of heaven's army says. I myself have risen against Babylon. I will destroy its children and its children's children, says the Lord. I will make Babylon a desolate place of owls, filled with swamps and marshes. I will sweep the land with the broom of destruction. I, the Lord of heaven's armies, have spoken. A message about Assyria. The Lord of heaven's armies have sworn this oath. This will all happen as I have planned. It will be as I have decided. I will break the Assyrians when they are in Israel. I will trample them on my mountains. My people will no longer be their wives or be their slaves, nor bow down under their heavy loads. I have a plan for the whole earth, a hand of judgment upon all the nations. The Lord of heaven's armies have spoken. Who can change this? Who can change his plans when his hand is raised? Who can stop him? A message about Philistia. This message came to me the year King Ahaz died. Do not rejoice, you Philistines. that the rod that struck you is broken, that the king who attacked you is dead. From that snake, a warm poisonous snake will be born, a fierce serpent to destroy you. I will feed the poor in my pasture, and the needy will lie down in peace. But as for you, I will wipe you out with famine and destroy the few who remain. Wail at the gates, weep in the cities, melt with fear, you Philistines. A powerful army comes like smoke from the north. Each soldier rushes forward, eager to fight. What shall we tell the Philistine messengers? Tell them the Lord has built Jerusalem. Its walls will give refuge to his oppressed people. Chapter 15, a message about Moab. In one night the town of Ar will be leveled, and the city of Kir will be destroyed. Your people will go to their temple in Dibon and to mourn. They will go to their sacred shrines to weep. They will wail for the fate of Nebo and Medaba, shaving their heads in sorrow and cutting off their beards. They will wear burlap as they wander the streets. From every home and public square will come the sound of wailing. The people of Heshbon and Eliah will cry out. Their voices will be heard as far as Jahaz. The bravest warriors of Moab will cry out in utter terror. They will be helpless with fear. My heart weeps for Moab. Its people flee to Royal and Eglash, Shia. Weeping, they climb the road to Luhith. Their cries of distress will be heard all along the road to Horonaim. Even the waters of Nimrim are dried up. The grassy banks are scorched. The tender plains are gone. Nothing green remains. The people grab their possessions and cry out, carry them across the ravine of willows. A cry of distress echoed through the land of Moab. From one end to the other, from Englim to Beer Elim, the stream near Dibon runs red with blood. But I am still not finished with Dibon. Lions will hunt down the survivors, both those who try to escape and those who remain behind. Send lambs from Salah as tributes to the ruler of the land. Send them through the desert to the mountain of beautiful Zion. The women of Moab are left like homeless birds at the shallow crossings of the Arno River. Help us, they cried. Defend us against our enemies. Protect us from their relentless attack. Do not betray us now that we have escaped. Let our refugees stay among you. Hide them from our enemies until the terror is past. When oppression and destruction have ended and enemy raiders have disappeared, then God will establish one of David's descendants as king. He will rule with mercy and truth. He will always do what is right and be eager to do what is right. We have heard about proud Moab, about its pride and ignorance and rage. But all that boasting has disappeared. The entire land of Moab weeps. Yes, everyone in Moab mourns for the cakes of raisins from Kir Hareseth. They are all gone. They are all gone now. The farms of Heshbon are abandoned. The vineyards at Satmah are deserted. The rulers of the nations have broken down Moab, that beautiful grapevine. Its tendrils spread north as far as the town of Jezer and trail eastward into the wilderness. Its shoots reach so far west that they cross over the Dead Sea. So now I weep for Jezer and the vineyards of Setmah. My tears will flow from Heshbon and Elilah, though there are no more shouts of joy over your summer fruits and harvest. Come now in the gladness, gong the joy of harvest. There will be no singing in the vineyards, no more happy shouts, no trending of grapes in the wine presses. I have ended all the harvest days of joys. My heart cried for Moab, and it's like a lament on a harp. I am filled with anguish for Kirharaseth. The people of Moab will worship at their pagan shrines, but it will do them no good. They will cry out to the gods in their temples, but no one will be able to save them. The Lord has already said these things about Moab in the past. But now the Lord says, within 3 years, counting each day, the glory of Moab will be ended. From its great population, only a feeble few will be left alive. And so that's the end for today. It's a hard book to read. Not only because do I struggle understanding it, but I think I got like a basic enough of an understanding to realize that the people of Moab, Assyrians, Philistines, Babylonians, they all are in trouble. And the thing is like, God is punishing them for a good reason. God's not gonna just punish people because of, I don't know, because I've heard people say like, how can you worship a God who is so ruthless, who is so willing to kill other people who besides Israel? The thing is like, these nations around Israel, they're not innocent. They have done some absolutely evil things. They worship other gods. They have prostitution. They have killed babies to worship the gods, and like cheating on each other. It's bad. And so it's like, as I was reading this, it's just heart crushing because I feel like part of what Isaiah is saying about prophecy against Babylon, I feel like somehow it kind of carries it on into the U.S. No, not just the U.S. I don't know why we have this mindset of like the U.S. being like a big part of God's plan. I don't know why that's such a, I don't know why that became a thinking, but it's like the day in which Jesus returns is not going to be a pretty day for the non-believers, for sinners who have not repented of their sins. That's not a good day. And I feel like it's sad because like people downplay it. People think it's like, oh, it's not that big of a deal, it's gonna be okay. They say, but the thing is like nobody takes it seriously enough. It's like there is no day that when that day comes, when the day the Lord will come down from heaven, there will be no joy. There will be no singing of joy. There is no laughter. Everyone will be in anguish. Everyone back then in the future will be like doing so much evil things that God is just gonna completely destroy those people. Only the ones who are faithful is like a prophecy. It's like in the book of Revelation it talks about how like all the believers, genuine believers who follow God, who wants to follow Jesus, who follows Jesus, they'll be like taken up into the air and meet with Jesus up in the air. I don't know how that happens, but we need to pray. We need to start praying for our non-believer friends, because the day of the Lord's return is gonna be a day of absolute terror and absolute sadness for your non-believer friends. And that's why I like try to do my best each day to pray for my non-believer friends. Because I don't want anybody to face the wrath of God. Facing the wrath of God is not something you want to deal with. But unfortunately, we don't always take it seriously enough. And so when we don't take it seriously enough, how's anybody supposed to fear God if nobody takes the fear of God seriously? God is not just a friend. He is a commander of heaven's armies. He is a commander of all the angels who one day all come and destroy, and he himself will come and destroy the foundations of this earth. It's just a question is like, are you confident that you are saved? Are you confident enough to say that you are in a relationship with God? Not just like outwardly, but like internally, individually. Do you have a relationship with God? Do you pursue a relationship with God? But yeah, just like realizing that God is not just always going to be this friendly person who just be mad at his friends at a time. It's like, no. You know how much wrath God has been like having to deal with ever since Adam and Eve sinned. Ever since that day, God has to deal with wrath every day, every night, every single second. And it's right for him to be pouring out his anger upon all those people, pouring his anger out on all people. We all deserve to face his wrath. But it's only those who are being saved, but those who calls on the name of the Lord and believed with their heart and with their mouth, proclaims it with their mouth and believe it in their hearts, are the ones who are saved. But the thing is that it's such a minority amount of people who actually are being saved. And that's a really sad thing, because like, especially as a country that's known for as a Christian country, I was talking to one of my teachers from high school, and she said this, like, yes, our country may be known as a Christian country, but I actually think about how many people actually how many people actually wants to follow God, how many people are actually following God, and you have to realize, wow, it's such a small percentage. There could be a lot of people calling themselves to be Christians, but very few that I know of are actually genuine Christians, at least in my generation, among my friends. I know like a few who are genuine good people, like are genuine Christians who wants to follow God. But the rest of them who call themselves Christians, you can just see with the way they live, the fruit that they produce. It does not honor God. And understand, I'm coming from a place like where I understand those things. I used to be that Christian, be that person who calls himself a Christian, but goes about doing things that are dishonorable to God. It is very frustrating to me, and I have to show a little bit like grace and sympathy, because I know I came from that place as well. But like looking back on that now, and I would say like, wow, Dave, you look stupid in those days. Following God is not just about saying you follow God. You have to walk with God. We have to walk with God. We want to draw as many people into, like, I'm not about the movement about Christian nationalism. That is not, I don't believe in that, because like, yes, as much as I desire for my friends to be Christians, I don't think it would be honorable to God if I force them to be Christians who doesn't want to be Christians. I don't want to force people into a relationship with God if they don't want to be in a relationship with God. I don't even know how that's even possible, but it's like, that is very toxic, guys. But it's like realizing that I can only do my part, which is to share the gospel and pray to God every day. It's like, that made one of my friends finally come into terms with God, finally is able to have a relationship with God. Whenever that happens, my level of joy for my friend surpasses, like, I don't know how to say it, it makes me so happy. It fills my heart with so much encouragement and so much joy. And so like realizing like, if you really care about your friends, you have to share the gospel with them. If you really truly care about your friends, walk in the light, help them be an example, be a light in their life, so that they'll be interested in you. So they'll be interested in saying, hey, why do you act like this way? And you can say it's because of the Father that lives within me. The Holy Spirit that lives within me. He helps me to, He manifests Himself within me. That's how I'm able to act the way I act. But yeah, I just want to finish this, like, it's just hard because, like, no matter who it is, I don't want anybody to face the wrath of God, but it's gonna happen, it's gonna be terrible. But rejoice, guys. We have to rejoice at our friends and family who are saved. Rejoice with them, saying, I'm proud to call you a brother and sister in Christ. You are going to a beautiful place. But also never stop in spreading the gospel, never stopping to try to save another soul. Not because of we look superior, but because it's one sinner to another sinner. It's like what one of the people that I saw, it's like sharing the gospel is like sharing bread among your starving brothers and sisters. Among your friends, you just share bits of bread to everyone else. And you're just as starving as the rest of them, but you'll have enough to share. That's what kind of sharing the gospel is like. It's like we're all sinners. We all need Jesus Christ in our lives. And so sharing the gospel is like sharing like bits of good things, the true goodness of life around, so that people may experience that. And so that's all I have to share on stuff. And I just hope that my friends don't take the wrath of God seriously. Don't take the wrath of God seriously. Don't joke about it with people. Be real with people when it comes to the wrath of God, especially with your non-believer friends. So may you guys go and walk with God today.